guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video, and here we are, very soon afterwards. I did not anticipate that we were going to be getting more Dokkan Festival exclusive TUR characters in October. I really don't want to, like, spam with these tier lists, but I have enjoyed sort of keeping like a running update with it, you know, kind of seeing a progression of the meta as that type of character releases, right? So it's like, I'm not dropping an LR tier list right now because there's no like new LRs, but with, you know, these types of new characters, I do want to kind of update things. Plus, as I get more time using, you know, other TUR characters and stuff like that, and, you know, if certain content stages might release, I think the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone definitely did shake things up quite a bit, because it's a direct counter to many characters that get a lot stronger as the fight goes on, such as Ginya, AGL Cell, and then STR Goku and Gohan, right, who are characters that need to build up until they can hit peak performance, so to speak. I guess let's just jump in. Again, this is DOKKANFEST TURs. We do have an update here. I'm actually going to have to start clearing some of these options out, because now, I mean, we're at the point where, like, AGL Trunks and Int Broly are just, like, a laughing stock compared to, like, the Gammas or Kid Goku and stuff like that. Like, I could probably start to clear some of this out, like Super Vegeta. Definitely does not need to be here anymore. Alright, so we're going to start with number 10. It's actually AGL Cell. Now, AGL Cell, I would still argue, is pretty good, right? He's definitely a very strong unit, but as I was saying repeatedly when AGL Cell first came out, this guy is really unimpressive until you hit perfect form. Unless you're in, like, Super Battle Road and he has all of these extra buffs up. Just normal first form Cell against one enemy, he's very unimpressive. It's very scary with him out there against tough bosses. Now, when the movie and GT Red Zone were sort of like the content, right? The thing about those fights is you have plenty of time to build up, right? A lot of the Wicked Bloodline fights, though, you're jumping right into it. Now, Cell certainly could be better, right? Like, it seems as though he's on the threshold of falling off the tier list, so to say, right here. But Cell could, I think, potentially jump up if he had a powerful buddy, right? Like, if he got a really strong Big Bad Bosses tier character who could link up with him and share some of these strong links with him and also give him a 200%, I do think that Cell, he could have a revitalization, right? And remember, you know, some people might get upset as some of these characters who were, you know, so crazy only a couple of months ago begin to fall off, but right now that I'm sort of doing these monthly sort of tier lists, it's, you know, as the new characters come out, typically new characters are better than old characters. That's just how these games work. I mean, it's not even gacha games, right? A lot of times other, like, competitive games, it can work like that, right? Where, like, they drop these DLC characters and they might be, like, way stronger, you know, new abilities, blah, 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 right? So, all right, so we have Cell at 10. Then we have Goku and Gohan here at 9. I do like Goku and Gohan quite a bit, right? I think it's a character that, you know, like AGL Cell, can perform good in some of these Super Battle Road stages. But this unit's true value is once you swap into Gohan. 3 super attacks with no built-in additionals, though, is really tough for this character. I do like what this unit can do, but it can be very tricky. I'm not the biggest fan of running their own team, right, and having 2 of this character, although to be completely fair, most 200% teams I would rather run 1 of the character, right? Pan's team, Goku and Gohan, AGL Cell, many of these teams would be a lot better with 1 rather than 2 of the character, right? It's not often that you get, like, you know, like the LR Gods or, like, you know, LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. It's like, yes, I love running 2 of them, right? But many of the other 200% leads, I think they sort of did that intentionally, right? To not make these units too crazy, is sort of have them have kind of like this wonkiness that can hurt if you're running 2 of them. Even the Gammas, I think, potentially could be like that, right? Where running 2 of them occasionally could, you know, potentially give you issues. This Gohan can be super good. He'll definitely be a lot stronger, I think, against Ki Blast enemies. Because the thing, even once you exchange into Gohan, the first couple of hits can hurt, right? Before you build up this extra defense right here, this extra defense right here, right? If you're very low on health, he could take damage those first couple of hits. Typically, once Gohan gets built up, right? Once he's taken his 4th hit in this Gohan, he becomes God. But you know, it is a long journey to get there. 3 super attacks with Goku, then 4 hits received with this guy. Who does that remind you of? LR Goku and Vegeta, right? It's kind of a similar thing where you have to do super attacks and get hit. It just becomes an awful lot, right? Which is why he dropped. I can't get this guy out of here. Tech Gohan. I just, like, I think about it more and more. I'm using Tech Gohan compared to Goku and Gohan and Cell, and it's like, Tech Gohan also, like several of these characters, he's now at the point where he can take a lot of damage early on. Tech Gohan can get hit very, very hard at the start of these fights in like Wicked Bloodline, Red Zone, and stuff like that, for sure. But you guys know, the longer the fight goes on, the more dominant he becomes. The combo of greatly stacking defense and guard is just, it's disgusting. You know, the reason many times guard characters these days have conditions and stuff like that, I would blame this guy above all else. His unconditional guard plus greatly stacking defense, it's too strong. Like, he just can't age. Until the day comes where you need 1 million defense, like turn 1 or something, like, it's just like, he cannot age. He's always going to be in here, right? Like, I'm thinking about it. We're now at the point with the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone, which I would say is for the most part kind of skewering my takes on a lot of this. But like, you know, I've been using Majin Vegeta's team quite a bit recently, and Tech Gohan hangs in there on that team, right? It's like Goku and Gohan and AGL Cell, both of these characters, I think if they got another strong team that they could be a part of, that could help them out. I mean, Cell is on the 200% for both Gammas, right? But he still doesn't have the unit he requires, I feel like, to really make him crazy. Because I don't, like, STR Kid Buu and AGL Cell as a rotation, that's not going to be like, oh my, get out the way, Red Zone Broly, right? Like, hell no, that's not going to happen. So, I don't know. It's like, speaking of STR Kid Buu and AGL Cell, they both need, like, a better version of themselves now to sit in slot 1. So, like, some sort of, you know, perfect Cell, new character, you know, maybe like a Buuhan for Kid Buu or something like that, could help both of them. Tech Gohan just remains in there, right? It's just like, I feel like I would rather run Tech Gohan over these two, right? The potential is there, honestly, with all three. All three need to build up, but certainly Gohan turn 1 can at least survive a super attack, whereas oftentimes Cell and the Goku and Gohan cannot. Although Goku and Gohan, they can dodge, right? Which makes them solid. I like the Goku and Gohan and Cell. It's just better units are coming out, right? Just that simple. All right. I know this is, you know, might be a shell shock for some people. Pan is here at 7. Now, I would like to be very clear here that I think Pan has got a lot of potential. But the problem with Pan is the way she is set up, and she just has no help. So look what they did with Ginyu, the Ginyu Force, right? Where they dropped several Ginyu Force characters that are perfect friends for Captain Ginyu, and they're good enough for Kumin Goldo and Berter and Jace that you could go into fights, type neutral red zone fights with these Ginyu Force characters, and they're okay. If we look at what they gave here, I think LR, Goku, Trunks, and Pan are fine. I think expecting any more from their EZA is just like you're just not being realistic at that point, right? I feel like they're as good as they could have been. I really like the Goku, Trunks, and Pan. I think they could have made this guy a little bit better. It would not have killed them to make this guy a more competitive option for Pan. That would have helped her out a lot more. But the true, like, L, I think the thing that really hurts Pan, especially compared to some other top tier TUR Dokkanfest that have come out, is Trunks and Giru, which is not good enough. This is a character, you can only use them, I think, type advantage in these red zone fights. They're just not good enough, right? It's just simple. Compare this to STR Piccolo, Android 8. This is a baby of a character right here. And this is what hurts Pan. Because the thing with Pan has these restrictions, man. Like, you could run Pan, like, on a hybrid Saiyan team, and I feel like at least there she could be okay, right? Because you could still get, like, Saiyan lineage, you can get All in the Family. Get some of these up, I think Pan will be okay. But right now, I don't know that like, spot really exists. Like, the hybrid Saiyan team doesn't, like, have a 200%. Like, yeah, sure, they could drop Beast Gohan as, like, a 200% or something like that with Pan, and then that could certainly change things out quite a bit. But right now, I don't think the Hybrid Saiyan is a setup that we're going to be running, right? Like, no way. And then if you're not running her with hybrids that could activate All in the Family and Saiyan lineage for her, you need this, but this sucks. GT Hero, Goku, Trunks, and Giru, these units are just not good enough. Pan, I really maintain, I think Pan is very strong, but she's just completely let down by the characters around her. If they drop the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, that's like Gamma 1 or 2 level, like, next, like, Pan could shoot up on this list to like 4 or 3 or something like that for sure, but I don't know, man. These characters are just not good enough. And she really wants this built-in additional so we could build this up faster. And then, the biggest draw with this character is this. I have in some of these Wicked Bloodline Red Zone stages been able to blow away some of these Red Zone bosses with this attack. This shit is crazy. But it's not that simple, right? Like, you go in there, she can get crushed turn 1, she doesn't have the help. It's very negative, unfortunately. Pan falling off a little bit, but I think several of these characters, Tech Gohan is probably in about the right place, but the other 3 I feel like potentially could shoot up depending upon if they had a really good partner actually drop for them, right? Next we have Majin Vegeta. Now, I think I could probably pull in the next unit as well, Tech Android 17 and 18. This was close. I was close to actually potentially putting Majin Vegeta in front of them, but I certainly would say the Tech Androids are even stronger now. They have a much better setup, right? So Majin Vegeta, of course, we know how good he can be, but how good he is strictly on LR Vegeta and Trunks. LR Vegeta and Trunks have to be around. And the other thing, too, I've found with Majin Vegeta, if you're, like, consistently sitting at, like, 70 HP, like, Majin Vegeta feels unstoppable. But the second you get up to max HP, when he loses this, it hurts him and the team so much, right? It's like, if I can get into a role where I'm maintaining 70% HP, all these Red Zone fights can get crushed. Even Metal Cooler Core, all of them. But gotta kind of keep that momentum up with the orbs, right? The orb changing is huge. Because it's like, without the proper orbs, this guy can struggle. A lot of his team and a lot of the characters you're using with him can struggle. But Majin Vegeta, this guy is a perfect example of what could happen to Pan and Goku and Gohan and Cell. Majin Vegeta was kind of like, I was very down on him because you needed a Trunks, and Trunks has sucked. But then they dropped the best unit in the game as a perfect partner for him. Remember that many characters could get this. The difference between Majin Vegeta right now and Majin Vegeta in April is the existence of LR Vegeta and Trunks. So you really want to keep that in mind, right? Now, the Tech Androids, they just got a much better setup for them. Gamma 2 leads androids, and these Tech Androids are way, way better on Gamma 2's setup, right? They don't have his 200% leader skill, but that's fine. They could still put up good damage, they could have good defense, they still have their nullification, right? So this is a unit that could perform very well on Gamma 2's team. I like the Tech Androids on Gamma 2's team. I was close to putting Majin Vegeta in front. If not for the fact that Gamma 2 was a new team for them, I actually probably would have had Majin Vegeta at 5. Because it's just that the AGL Cell team is where you're running them before. And, like, Cell sucks with, like, all other Android characters, right? He's just terrible with them. But Gamma 2, at the very least, is going to share Android Assault. And Gamma 2 is also supporting and shit like that, so it works much better, right? I like the Tech Androids. I saw people talking about they had fallen off, and it's like, what? I mean, dude, we understand how good Ki Blast nullifications are, right? Like, how good their orb changing into them healing 300,000 HP can be, right? Like, these things matter. And on a team with Gamma 2, they could cook, for sure. Next is Ginya. Now, this is crazy. Ginya is at 4. Yeah, it's just, this is what happens, man. All right, like, new characters come out who are better than old characters. That's just how this goes down, right? Ginyu's still ridiculously powerful. He's got the super effective against all types. One of my favorite things ever now, these mid-battle healing characters are so strong. He has a scouter, he has dodge, he could stack attack, he could stack defense. Ginyu is doing so much, but there's just a new tier of power that Dokkan is dropping, right? Power creep. It's always been this way. Most games do this, right? Like, it's how it is. Ginyu, I think, is still really good. His banner units are still very strong. Raccoon, Goldo, Burner, and Jace sound like they've fallen off. I certainly would not say so. It's just simply better characters have now released. Now, 1, 2, and 3, I feel like we could kind of put them all in at the same time. I do have Gamma 2 at 3. I have Kid Goku at 2. And I have Gamma 1 at 1. This is the final order that we are going to head and do right here. Now, here is the thing, right? When it comes to... Here, get out of here, man. I wanted to open up like... All right. Here's the thing. A lot of times, with characters, I like to sort of put them into the same slot if they have similar kits and stuff like that. I do it with the 7th Anniversary LRs. I do it with the Easy 8 LR Super Saiyan 4s. Gamma 1 and 2 are not doing the same things, though, right? So it's like, I don't view them as the same character, similar, right? Where, again, like, LR Super Saiyan 4, Goku and Vegeta, they are so close. Like, me picking which one of the two of them I'm going to use is based upon, like, what the typing of the boss is, right? Gamma 1 and 2, it's not going to be like that, because they have different abilities. Now, I really like Gamma 2. Because remember, Ki Blast Nullification is just such a busted ability. He is supporting as well, and then beyond that, he's essentially kind of like a baby version of LR Final Form Cooler, right? But he is sort of the natural progression of, like, you know, a damage character, but even though he is one of these, like, damage characters, they gave him support and nullification, which I think is really huge for him. I just can't... I feel like Gamma 2 just going... like, his major impact being damage, I just don't think it's as much as Kid Goku with his rainbow orb changing, and then specifically this. I feel like you can't really, like I want to choose my words carefully here, right? Like, not talking down to people, but, like, the more you play and know how these characters are going to be tanking in various situations, and then you then do the same types of setups with Kid Goku around, giving your allies this extra damage reduction. Like, I feel like this is something that is not really as obvious, like, if you're watching through a video, but, like, if you're playing with yourself, you could notice this more. I feel like this is, like, probably the strongest ability that anyone on this list at all has. I think so. It's, like, it's so good that even above Gamma 1 I was thinking of, but... Gamma 1, I mean, just dropping 11 million attack stats and then having the 50% damage reduction, tanking Cell Max super attacks and stuff like that is crazy, right? In my experience, Kid Goku does not survive Gamma, Cell Max super attacks, or Metal Cooler Core super attacks. My Kid Goku's been able to survive some of those attacks aimed at him, because he has full dodge, which I really stand by, but Gamma 1 can actually hang in there and absorb those hits. Majin Vegeta can as well, if you're able to get a lot of his key spheres. You know, some of these other characters, you know, Gohan, once you exchange, he can do it. Perfect Cell with a good rotation, either he dodges or he triple supers, he could survive some of these big million damage super attacks, but I think Gamma 1 defensively is just so crazy. And, you know, I have had losses already on both Gamma 1 and 2, right, where Gamma 1 has not gotten hit enough times early on, and then, like, the way the fight's just gone, he hasn't had his damage reduction up, or Gamma 2 has not done his attacks to where he's not been able to get his super attacks in, right? Like, I've had these things sort of happen with these characters, but all in all, I think that the Gammas are definitely deserving of being up here, right? So let's take a look. So I always like to do these as well right now. I would probably put it like this. I feel like I didn't want to drop Pan from right here, right? Because I really feel like with, you know, if we had a Super Saiyan 4 Goku that was like, you know, Kid Goku or something like that, Pan would be, she would explode up, right? So, like, I like it like this. Again, I feel like Kid Goku, orb changing support, and then the additional damage reduction and crit support is just too strong. Kid Goku can do insane amounts of damage, just like Gamma 2. I mean, in my experience, Kid Goku, his damage a lot of times is like, I don't know, the same or better than what Gamma 2 is doing. Like, it's like, I feel like their damage is pretty similar in a lot of the instances I've seen. I guess the difference is that Gamma 2, his crit chance is 50%, right? Whereas a lot of times with Goku is getting the 7% crit chance per Rainbow Key Sphere, plus if you get the 7 orbs, he gets another 8% crit chance. But I feel like Gamma 2 and Goku, like they're both like a lot of times triple supering, right? And they could triple super with like 10 million attack stats type triple super deal, right? Like both Kid Goku and Gamma 2 can do that. I do feel pretty comfortable about this. I mean, looking at it, I don't really think that there's any changes that need to be made. And maybe we could move Tech Ultimate Gohan above Pan. I guess that would be the thing. I just think that like Pan, the thing is Pan and some of these characters, they're one character away from exploding up, but the character might not ever come. Look at Kid Buu. Kid Buu has been one character away for a year, and he's just never gotten it. And, you know, time is going to run out on Kid Buu. And it's just like, yep, now he just was a worthless release, basically. He never got a chance to shine, right? So that's something to be wary of with, like, Pan, right? They didn't do right by Pan the way they did by, like, Ginyu. Or, like, the tech androids. Like, when these two dropped, remember, there was a bunch of good android options that dropped with them. So that is what it is. Poor global players. I mean, the Resurrection of Blues, I don't even have them on here, right? Like, that's... Yeah, they're the first 200% leader to drop off, huh? Yeah. I mean, dude, listen. They can be solid. Like, they're not horrible. It's just that they have no outstanding abilities. The best thing, like, I think once you exchange into Blue Vegeta, you know, he's got the Rainbow Orb changing, which is very strong, and defensively he could be pretty strong as well. But they turn limited his Rainbow Orb changing, which hurts that unit, I found, quite a bit. Because Blue Goku, deeper into those fights, does not hold up. So you got to get out to Vegeta quickly. But then when Vegeta's Rainbow Orb changing runs out, he can be a sitting duck too if he doesn't get Rainbow Orbs. So what really hurt this unit was Vegeta's Rainbow Orb changing being turn restricted. That was such a misplay by Dokkan. They did not need to do that. All right. I feel like people might mention Physical Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but be fucking serious. He does damage and that's it. Stop it. Stop it. Let's please snap back to reality with this character, right? Like, now he is not in the upper levels of TURs. You're crazy, right? Oh my god, he did 3 super attacks and then he gets one-shotted, right? Like, embarrassingly so, right? This guy is getting cut up in some of the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone stages by normal attacks, right? Super Saiyan 2 Goku is not able to hold up very well against some of those tough bosses in there, I found, so... yeah, this guy is off the list now. Guess what? That's what happens when you're damage. You're out very fast because damage ages quick, right? Physical Super Saiyan 3, yeah, that damage was so nasty before. He's not putting up damage like Gamma 2 though, right? Guess what? Newer, hotter shit comes out. Whereas a character like Majin Vegeta with his damage reduction, or Tech Gohan with his guard and defensive stacking, they can hang in there because they have abilities that most characters don't have. Whereas Physical Super Saiyan 3 Goku, every character additionals, every character crits, right? Like, he's just doing the same shit that every other character does. Something special about him. So that's that. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, whoops. Yeah. I'm just sort of reviewing it, making sure I'm comfortable getting 80 quote tweets on this, and yes, I am. The only thing I'm tempted to do is put Tech Ultimate Gohan above Pan. That's, looking at this, that's the only change I would want to make, is I'd want to slide Tech Ultimate Gohan up one spot ahead of Pan. But I really see the value in Pan. She just needs the help to drop. That's all. Like, even if Beast Gohan comes out and Pan is on that 200% leader skill with him, and they share All in the Family and Saiyan lineage and shit like that, like, Pan can be really good, even without a GT hero cast, right? But it's like, again, her on a 200% with Beast Gohan, she could be saved, even without her additionals and stuff like that. But we'll see what's gonna happen, right? So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.